right, everybody, welcome back to The Deep Life. We've got another very special guest with us today. We're excited to have this conversation and dialogue with Rick Garcia. Rick, welcome.
Hi, how you doing?
Great, Rick. It's great to have you here. I always get really, really excited talking to other trainers and having the opportunity to kind of talk shop. But before we get deep on any like training philosophy or any of that, why don't we give people a little bit of a background, like, who are you? How did you become a personal trainer? And, what brought you to this point now?
Okay. First of all, thank you. I'm very honored, humbled to be a guest on your show. It means a lot to me and for you to invite me on. So thank you very much. I want to just go ahead and say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, yeah.
So I have always had a passion for fitness. As I was growing up, I always used to love riding bikes, playing sports. That's how I started exercising. I grew up playing baseball and soccer competitively throughout my collegiate career. Growing up and entering into adulthood, I noticed as my body was maturing, I had a pretty thin frame. As people in this space know, it's the body type that I have is known as an ectomorph. So, I wanted to, I saw these competitive bodybuilders and stuff. I used to get magazines out. And, I'd be like, oh man, I really want to get bigger. So I started lifting weights. I got interested in that. My mom suggested that I join a gym. She was actively going to the gym. So she's like, why don't you come and start doing that. My parents bought me like my first weight bench. I had some dumbbells, some plates downstairs, like lifting weights. No idea what I was doing. But you know what? That's for another story. So then I found P90X. I started doing the P90X craze. It was pretty wild there. Beachbody promoted that pretty aggressively. So I got into that. And then I injured myself, like poor form and technique. So I got really discouraged. So I stopped lifting weights. I graduated from college. I went to American University, and so I went back. I had a few different jobs before I landed in nonprofits. I worked in nonprofits for a number of years. The last one that I worked at, I was very unhappy. I was there for a very short term. I was only there for like 6 months. I felt like I wasn't fulfilling my passion and desire for helping others in a meaningful purpose. So I struggle with a lot of stress and anxiety, and I feel like the only way to really do that is to be active. I walk a lot, especially with my dog Dakota, but I feel like lifting weights really hits that sweet spot where it really like helps me like de-stress. I enjoy working out with others. I find that when I have a workout partner, I will train harder than I normally would. I don't know why that is, but I do. And I've always had solid workout partners in the past. And now I'm here in Miami Beach and I've got a solid workout partner and we train pretty hard, most mornings at 5 a.m. Awesome. Back to how I became a trainer. Back when the stressful job, I rejoined the gym because I'm like, man, I need to get some stress out. And I ran into this childhood friend, and this childhood friend told me about this school that he was doing. It was called the National Personal Training Institute. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. I was like, I feel completely lost here in the gym. I don't know what I'm doing. I was like, he's like, man, they really teach you everything. They teach you about anatomy, basic nutrition, joint actions, everything that you could really know. And you would spend half the time in the classroom and then half the time in the gym training others. So you are literally getting a feel for training before even really having the experience of training a client person, which is completely different than when you're training a friend and you are trying to make money and training someone professionally. But you did have that experience. So 6 months later, after that initial conversation with my friend, 6 months later, I joined the school. I graduated with a 4.0. I befriended the instructor, the owner, Tim Enriquez, one of my really, really good friends. We still stay in touch this day. I graduated with a diploma in exercise and basic nutrition. He had a powerlifting team and I wanted to get stronger. So I joined a powerlifting team. We competitive. If you don't know anything about powerlifting, it's squat, bench, and deadlift. And that was pretty much 11 years ago. So almost to the day, 11 years ago. So
what you said, especially about the Beachbody and P90X, resonates with me so much because I did Insanity.
Okay.
And that was really my introduction. I shouldn't say introduction. I was very active as a child too, kind of like you. I did sports and activities, but within that, I kind of lost my way after college and then found Insanity, and it was amazing and transformed my body. But unfortunately, after those 60 days, I was lost and didn't know where to go. Dan hadn't had his personal training certificate yet. So I just was like, wait, how come they don't tell you what to do after the 60 days? What do I do? And which spiraled down into me gaining all the weight back and not following the nutrition. So I so appreciate that you had to learn that just like we learned it, and so many other thousands, if not millions of people go through that. And I think where we're so similar in our journeys, we're also a voice into the health and fitness space where we can give our recollection and our account of what worked and what didn't, and then coach people in that aspect.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like for the people out there who are in that spot, who've done something like a P90X or Insanity, and you get to the end of the 60 or 90 days and you're feeling lost, like I think it is really helpful to know that there's other people out there who've been in that same spot and kind of been where you are and figured out how to come out on the other side and create like a long lasting progressive way of training.
Yeah. Completely.
I also think it kind of gave, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but because it's kind of the same with me, it kind of gave me like a love for fitness and the way that eating, so I commend the program for putting that kind of little stepstone and that little light bulb in my head. And it just made me eager to learn more and to dive deeper into health. And it seems like that's what kind of brought you into the space of getting, an education and getting into the gym with that membership, and then being able to focus on the quality of movement, because that's so important. When people don't know how to do fundamental, simple movements, they can hurt themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Basic instruction, you know what I mean? Like kind of like similar to you, like I would do like a round of P90X and I'd be like, okay, so what do I do now? And then what we deem the term progressive overload. Like, how do I continue to get stronger? You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to continue to get stronger if you keep lifting the same weights, doing the same things over and over, if there's no progression. You know what I mean? So completely agree with you. Yeah.
So I feel like that all becomes part of your background. So going from kind of starting out almost just intuitively training, like you're saying, with like just some dumbbells in the basement, to then doing something like I'll call it like a crazy program where it's like really intense and really strict for 90 days with the P90X. And then also with, what you were able to go and learn about from maybe like a science standpoint, anatomy and kinesiology. How have you been able to kind of like blend all those things into a training philosophy? Like what kind of got you to being the trainer you are now?
Well, when I graduated from personal training school, I wanted, my ultimate goal was to start my own business. And I'm like, okay, so what do I do from here? So I'm like, okay, well, I was like, I'm willing to suck it up for a few years and train at a gym. So I went to the nearest Equinox and I trained there for, I think it was almost 2 years. I worked up to a level 3 trainer. As you progress through their levels of the status of being a trainer there, you go through their education. So you're picking up more education as you come along, right? So I learned a great deal there. I have a few different certifications. I'm NASM certified. I'm a precision nutrition health coach.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And then, so from there, from Equinox, I started my own business, Rick Garcia Personal Training. I did that for a few years, and then I just ultimately decided that maybe I just needed to go back to another gym for a little while. So I went to 24 Hour Fitness, and I spent 4.5 years there. I became a master trainer. The last full year that I spent there in 2019, I was one of the top producers with like $10,000 in sales for the year.
Wow.
And then the pandemic hit, and then just like everything went downhill. And so I transferred all my clients online, who I still train to this day. And it allowed me the opportunity to ultimately move to the beach. And that's when I moved to Miami Beach.
So you mentioned online training, which I think is something that's really, really interesting. Like we do some of that ourselves. And it's something I think that can be intimidating for a lot of people, because if they're used to the idea of having a trainer there in person and can kind of cue and spot and help coach things immediately, it might be a little scary to know that like it's just going to be on a screen. It's not quite the same thing. So how has that process gone for you? Have you been able to find kind of the same amount of success virtually?
Yes, I train all my clients online. I think it's great for someone who is who's seasoned, who's been in this space for a long time, who's confident in their training. I think it's very convenient for my clients. I can provide a lot of flexibility in the comfort of their own home. It's very private between the client and myself. And I think that you really need excellent communication. I have a workspace here behind me that I use. I just move the camera over and I demonstrate the exercise. I can provide some good cues, and then having them do the same, moving their computer around and stuff. But yeah, I think it has worked great for me. I enjoy it. I can work with many different people all over the United States, even over the world. And I think it could be the future of training, especially right now with the way COVID is. I'm looking to do a little more in-person training. I thoroughly enjoy in-person. I enjoy one-to-one human interaction, but for right now, this really works. So we'll go with it.
Yeah. It is so much more. You can be so much more consistent when times like this, when you don't know if the gym is going to be closed, if whatever's going to happen.
Exactly.
You know that it's just that person alone in their living room. You know that you're not going to miss sessions. You can be really, really consistent.
Yeah, and I think that there's a really interesting concept that the fitness industry puts out there. Like we were talking at the beginning, everybody wants to get bigger, stronger, and it's been marketed that you have to be in the gym to do that. You need equipment, you need tons of heavy weights. And I feel like with the online training, you're kind of debunking that myth, because you've got to be innovative. You can use, dumbbells or single kettlebells or, more floor exercises, core exercises. So you almost have to be a little bit more creative with the workouts and exercises that you do with your clients. Do you feel it's just as effective, like not needing to be in person at a gym?
Yes, I don't. The clients that I gear towards are more men and women my age,
Sure,
executive type people. I'm 43 years old, so I'm not looking to get like huge or anything.
Exactly.
I love to stay active, so we don't need like 100-pound dumbbells. But I can promise you this: like we will do a lot of conditioning. You will look lean and feel really good in your body. And that's big. My goals have changed throughout the years, and the way that I've trained people has changed throughout the years. And, I believe in like professional growth, and, it has helped me grow as a trainer. I've had to think more about exercises and how I can make them harder. And, but it's great. It's been great for me. I really enjoy it. I feel like I am like right there towards like hitting like my passion for I couldn't be any happier. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, I do. Yes, I love that.
And that's really cool. Like as you go, those all kind of just become tools in your toolbox. Learn to be more creative, find different ways, but you still have that other knowledge. It's like a transcend and include kind of thing. Yeah. With that said, being creative and having to do, like, everybody's unique and you're doing different things with every different person. Do you feel like there are like non-negotiables that like every person in a training program should be doing, X, Y, or Z?
In terms of like physical capabilities, I guess everyone is different. It's
Right.
case by case basis, depending on like what their past history is, like either medical or physical. But I mean, if they have full range of motion at the joints and stuff, I think like a good goal for everyone would be at least one push-up. That's a good body weight goal. I'm training one person right now. This gentleman is 51 years old and could barely do a handful of push-ups when we first started. And I think the last time he did a rep out of like 32 in a row. We've been training for like a year. Yeah. But for like that, it's pretty cool. But we train consistently. Like he always works hard. We got to do it with push-ups, and like I'm like it works, and he enjoys it, and like his body has adapted to the stimulus that we've created, and he set a goal 52 push-ups for next October, so we're gonna go for it. I'll let you guys know how it goes.
Yes, please. We'll do a follow-up episode next year.
Yeah, perfect. That'd be great. Yes. I'd be like, hey, yes, he did it. 52.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's my favorite thing about being a trainer is like having those moments where you get to watch people like really make changes, really buy in, and just get incredible results and do things that they didn't know was possible. Definitely. And then you see the wheel starting to turn, and then they're setting goals that would have been ridiculous a year ago for him to go from like a handful of push-ups to 52, but
that's even before we just use that as like really just like a warm-up. Like he does like body weight squats for the hips and knees, and then we get into push-ups, and then we do the full body workout. I mean, he has really come along hard. Like it's a pleasure to see, to be honest.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
So you said that you train a lot of like busy people and executives. Which I kind of, the first thing I think of is these are people that don't have a lot of time. So you have to be really efficient with your workout, whether it's 30 minutes or if you're lucky an hour. I guess my question would be like, how do you do that? How do you get the most out of a training session? And are there things that like tips you have for people who are busy?
I usually train people at least twice a week. I prefer to stay away from training once a week. I feel like those people, they're not going to get the most bang for their buck, and training once a week is just not enough stimulus to see any type of result. So I just don't. I steer people towards either training twice a week, or maybe we're just not the right fit. 3 times a week is ideal. But pretty much having a consistent schedule every single week. So this is the time that I'm going to dedicate to my fitness every single week. I block it off on my calendar. And unless there's like something extreme happen, like a family emergency, or right now I got COVID, or I'm not feeling great, but pretty much for the most part, like holding all of my clients accountable. You know what I mean? Like there's really no excuse, you know what I mean? Like this is our time every single week. Like, I hate to be the fatherly figure, but why is someone interrupting our time? Is it not blocked off in your work schedule, et cetera? So yes.
Yeah. That's great.
I love that. And like you said, consistency is all about consistency. You don't have to do it all at once. Just keep doing it over and over, and the results.
Exactly. It's just like, let's just take, we'll look at this week, we'll start today. And then, we pretty much either, depending on their goals, either we'll do like total body days or an upper body or a lower body day, depending on their fitness goals as well. You know what I mean? But staying consistent, being accountable, and they hold me accountable too. Like I never cancel on a session unless I'm deathly ill. And I think maybe like out of 11 years, I've had to cancel less than 5 times.
Sure.
Like something is coming. Oh my God. Like my dog's got an eye issue. I got to run to the vet. Like, dude, like can't go to the ride or something. I don't know, but So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that comes with the territory, but it also is mutually acceptable because they're hiring you really as a coach, but an accountability coach too, because they need that person to tell them, yes, this is the time that we're going to dedicate to your health and fitness, because you want them to be the best version of themselves, and they have to show up for it, because you can't drag them to their computer. You can only be that voice of reason. Like, I'm here, I'm showing up for you. You have to do the same, because I want you to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Completely agree.
That's great.
Yeah. I think from the outside looking in, like the personal trainer can kind of like, the idea of a personal trainer can almost feel like a drill sergeant who's just standing there yelling at you. But a lot of the time, like, we're just there to remind people that this is what they want, and that, you know, they hired you for a reason.
Exactly. And, you know, you need to, like, no one is the same. So you need to adapt your skills to fit that specific person. That specific person is not going to fit you. Like, there are tons of personal trainers out there. You need to adapt to them. You know what I mean? And finding out what works best. You know what I mean? And everyone is different, but, you know, finding some common ground, building a rapport, building a solid relationship where there's trust in between two people. You know, I think that's really key. And, you know, that goes in just overall relationships too. So
yeah, it does. Just like you were saying before about having like a training partner, or, like, you know, a friend you can work out with, is same idea. Having somebody there that, you know, you're accountable to, that they're going to be accountable to you, and that kind of, it brings the energy up, and people get a little more excited, work a little bit harder.
Yeah,
I think it makes a big difference.
I love working out, but there's some days when I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning where I'm like, man, I could like really like stay in bed right now. And I'm like, I need to go to the gym. Like, there is no excuse, you know, and I hold myself to the highest regard. So it's just like, I need, like, if I don't go to the gym and I bail, there better be a good reason, or I'm really hard on myself, and I will extend that throughout the entire day feeling disappointed. You know what I mean? Like, I missed out on a great session. But it's those days where you don't want to go, and you go, that you have the best session. Like, man, I can't believe I did not go to the gym. Like, what was I thinking?
Yeah. I love to tell people, like, commit to the warm up. If you can just show up, get your warm up in, by the time you're warmed up, you're going to be ready to go. You're not going to wish you were in bed. You're going to be happy that you're there, happy you're doing your workout. And then, amazing things happen when you commit to showing up and just doing something. It's like, it sounds cliche, like something is better than nothing, but the biggest thing about doing something is that it leads to doing more. Exactly. And I think, you know, once you just kind of shake the cobwebs out, you're going to get a great workout.
Exactly. Literally, the hardest part is showing up. I mean, once you're there, you know, it's like, hey, I'm here already. All right, let's just do it.
Yeah. You're not going to walk into the gym and then leave 10 minutes later.
Oh God, I can't believe I came here, going home.
Yeah. But I think, like, coming from a professional, like you've been in this for so long, and to know that, like, you still have those days where you don't want to get up.
God, dude, yes, all the time. I'm just like, man, but, you know, it's like, hey, like, I'm going to disappoint my training partner, you know, or you're going to feel really disappointed later that you didn't go. Are you sure this is really what you want to do? And, you know, it's like, you know, I'm already up, so let's just get started, you know?
Yep. Yeah, love that.
That's awesome.
Do you have a preference? Like, you mentioned training splits earlier, and I know, like, it's going to change depending with clients. It's going to change depending on what their goals are, what their lifestyle is. Do you have a preference as far as, like, going full body, doing a push pull, or body parts?
I don't really. I look at what I look at what the client's fitness goals are, and what I think is going to yield the best results in the quickest amount of time. You know, I believe that everyone should have a foundation of fitness. Just like the basics, like, literally, you should be able to obviously do a push-up. You should be able to perform a bodyweight squat. If they don't, you know, to the best of their ability, you know what I mean? Like, if you've got some, I mean, you know, it's case by case. If they have some serious knee issues, probably not the best.
Of course.
Well, you know, they should be able to do a basic lunge. Like, that's based on case by case basis. But you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just like, you see a lot of people right now on social media where they're doing all these things, and, you know, it creates a lot of misinformation to someone who is very new or does not know what they're doing, and they'll be like, I want to do that, but they don't state, like, oh, I've been doing this for X amount of years, and this is how I started. You know what I mean? It's like when you look at, like, a house, like, you can't put, like, the foundation of a house out before the basement, or you can't put the walls up before the roof. Like, you got to focus on the basics and build on that. You know what I mean? And I really truly believe in that. You know, with that being said, you know, proper exercise progression. You know what I mean? Like, Like that's like we're going, like being taught like how to properly warm up. Like when I always do a warm up. I've been doing this I've been lifting weights forever. And it's like, you know what? Like I have put my ego aside. Before I do anything, I'm going to do some like proper warm up. You know, even like warming up with light weights, I call it like priming the groove. You know what I mean? Just like getting, like, I might not do like stretch my body or anything like that, like right before I work out, but I will do a few warm up sets before I get into a main set. You know what I mean? And that's because I don't want to get injured. And I think that's just smart training. But you gotta say that on Instagram. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, oh, look what I'm doing. I threw 315 pounds on my back and this is what I'm doing. But, you know, they don't show the other stuff. So, you know, and then exercise like methodology in terms of like sets and reps and rest time, like adjusting those to specific client needs based on their goals, you know? So, you know, like when you're training someone for weight loss, you would probably focus on muscular endurance. If you're training someone for strength, you train them for strength based on those specific rep ranges, sets, and rest time. And then obviously if you're training someone hypertrophy or muscle building, you're gonna focus on like sets of 12. So basically that. And you know, I also believe in like doing things like the right way and not cutting corners or using like performance enhancing drugs. Like I pride myself on like not ever using steroids. Don't get me wrong. The thought has not crossed my mind. I mean, the thought has crossed my mind. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I see these guys, especially down here at Miami Beach, like, you know, people walking around, they're like, I want to be like that. And I'll be like, you know, there's a lot of things that he's probably not telling you, you know, and if it doesn't look natural, it's probably not natural. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And people, like a lot of trainers that would suggest something like that to a client don't really discuss the long-term health risks associated with that. You know, like steroids. Like if you take steroids, if you are predisposed to cancer, that is going to accelerate cancer. I don't know about you, but that is pretty darn scary. And you know what? I value my long-term health. Like at some day I would like to retire or have some form of retirement. I would like to live that healthy and, you know, not in pain, you know? And then, and lastly, just understanding how your diet is strongly correlated with how you feel and perform during exercise and, you know, during your daily life. You know what I mean? Because obviously we have life outside of fitness. You know, I mean, we do this to feel good, but we, you know, like we don't spend our lives working out, and we want to live the healthiest lives the other 22, 23 hours out of the day. So.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I don't mean to go back, but I love your analogy of the foundation of a house where you can, that's perfect. That's amazing. And it's right in line with our philosophy of momentum. You've got to build it in small little incremental steps that's manageable. Then you're going to get to, you know, ones that you can build upon that. And it's so exciting.
And that's just kind of a reminder for everybody, like anybody who you look up to in the fitness space, anybody who you just see and like, oh, that guy has an amazing body. They did that. That person, I promise you, built a foundation and slowly put on muscle and put on whatever, you know, got lean, got strong because they were doing the same things over and over. So it's like, it might not be sexy on Instagram. Like we try to post, you know, at least like 2 posts a day. People don't want to see, you know, squats and push-ups and presses and rows every single day for years. But that's what's happening. So the stuff that gets posted is like, yeah, well, at the end of the workout, I did this and it looked really cool. So this is what I did. But
sexy stuff, you know what I mean? They all know sexy stuff. Yeah. Like, not like warming up or, you know, anything that involves that, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you did that? No, I don't want to see that. Like, I want to see something nice. Like, you know, like a single leg squat. Well, can you squat on both feet before you can squat on one leg?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think it's also just the culture of everybody wants everything like right away and immediately. And social media has done that people think that, you know, you transform your body overnight. And not that I'm saying that you can't have that quickly, but it does take take time and effort. But once you get into the habit of building those little foundations, it's going to excel your progress much more rapidly than if you were to go from 0 to 100 and hurt yourself and then have to backtrack. Yeah, this is really exciting. I love this conversation. It's like you and Dan, you have so much in common. Your training philosophies are so in alignment, and kind of your story of just how, you know, you started in nonprofits and you just weren't happy. You didn't feel like your purpose was being fulfilled. And Dan's is very similar to that. And then you just found this passion of what you like to do and train. And then it kind of transformed your lives into helping other people become healthy. And that's so rewarding, because what's life about? It's about feeling good and being in love with yourself and in love with other people and feeling good and having that energy to wake up and like live the next day like this is going to be the best day of my life. Never mind yesterday, it's today. I'm in the present moment and happy and excited to fulfill, you know, the happiness that comes along with it.
Exactly. I think it's, yeah, like you said, just like being present, like enjoy where you are in your fitness. Like,
yeah.
Like, if you like working out and you can't be consistent, maybe that would be a good goal. Maybe like for 2022, I'm going to go to the gym like this amount of times. And, you know, you figure out how to hold yourself accountable. You know, maybe you need a personal trainer. Maybe you don't. I don't know. You got to figure out what's best for you and your income and your expenses, you know, but you know, fitness is what you can make it, what you make of it. You know what I mean? And fitness is very subjective and very different to everyone. But it seems like the three of us are in alignment with that.
Yeah. And I love that idea of just like embracing where you are. Like that guy, the example you gave before, of a guy who could, you know, barely do like a handful of push-ups. You can get really, really excited about going from 5 to 6 or 7 push-ups. It doesn't have to be, you know, 52 overnight, but just embracing the process and going through that and being proud of yourself, because going from 5 push-ups to 7 is a huge jump. That's whatever it is, 120% of 130% of what you were doing. That's massive. So like being proud of yourself and like taking that time to pat yourself on the back, I think is also really important.
Yeah. I mean, just think like if you were to add 1 push-up every single time you did push-ups, dude, that's 365 push-ups that you added. I mean, dude, that's nuts. The gains are incredible. I mean, that's why they have like micro plates. That's why they have like 1 pound plates, man. Because if you keep adding like 1-2 pounds to your weight every single time, those are massive gains. But like you said, like some people are impatient, you know, and maybe lifting weights isn't for you because the weight does not have feelings. Like if you do not properly respect the weight will not respect you and you'll get hurt. You know what I mean? So
that's a great point too.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that was something that was taught to me, you know, during powerlifting. Like you respect the weight no matter what it is, and you always treat it like a maximum attempt. You know what I mean? Because like when you go for that maximum attempt and you are lazy in your warm-ups or in your form, like the weight does not care. You will get hurt. Like there's
I literally said that to somebody this morning. I was training a client. Really? He had been sick for a couple of weeks, and we're just kind of working back into it. And I had him doing, he was doing, you know, 5x5 deadlifts today, but we were like, we're going to stop it at, we're going to do like, you know, 135 for the first set, 185 for the next 2, 225. And when he went to pull 135, I was like, I stopped and I was like, now imagine this is 315 and think of it like it's heavy. Don't think of this as like a light, easy lift. That's how you're going to hurt yourself.
Exactly.
It's so funny that was the example you brought up.
Yeah, it sounds like you and I was taught like old school, man. Like, you know, like it was 10 years ago, like the fitness industry has evolved. But you know, like, basics, fundamentals, like that is key. You know what I mean? That is the foundation to yourself. You know what I mean? And like, you know, I love passing along knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like if I can help, like, even if it's free, man, like you know, like building a relationship, a friendship with someone at the gym, man, you know, like everyone can use a new friend, you know what I mean? So
that's awesome. That's great. Oh, I mean, I feel like the conversation has flowed so great. It's been a wealth of knowledge. You really do have so much expertise in this fitness and health space. Are there any like parting words of wisdom or encouragement or tips that you can give our listeners too that you want to, you know, end with?
Somebody who is just starting out, like what would be like if you could give one piece of advice to somebody who's never trained before but wants to?
You can do this, just stick with it.
There you go. That's
cool. Right now, like in a year from now, like tomorrow, like in a month, in 3 months, you're gonna be amazed. Just keep doing it. You know, and I promise you will see results. You know what I mean? So
it's keep building momentum.
Exactly.
There you go.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I love it. Rick, oh my gosh, this has been amazing
Mm-hmm.
and so fun. I think our listeners are going to have a lot to take away from this, especially with your, like I said, expertise and just your overall encouragement, because you've got over a decade worth of it in the fitness space. So thank you for joining us.
This was so fun.
Thank you so much. Thank you both.
Yeah, absolutely. Where can people find you if they wanted to follow you on social media, or do you have a website? Where can we direct people to?
So I'm on Instagram, rick.garcia.80, EIRIZ. On Facebook, I'm on Rick Garcia Fitness.
Okay, great.
I'm on LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn a lot for business networking. Rick Garcia 80 EIRIZ, and the same thing as TikTok. Yeah.
Awesome, Rick. That's
we
perfect.
can link to all that as well.
Yep. All of those will be linked in the show notes. All right, Rick. Well, like we said, thank you so much for being a guest on The Deep Life. Have a great day. We are looking forward to maybe a part 2 to this.
Yes. That would be wonderful. Yes. Thank you so much. Truly an honor. And I respect the both of you. You guys put out wonderful, wonderful content. I'd love to continue this relationship with you guys, and maybe one day meet you guys in person. You guys got to come down to Miami Beach.
Yeah, I know,
come down,
right?
get a workout, record another podcast.
Go to Muscle Beach.
Definitely. Sounds good. We can do it from the beach.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh my God.
Thank you so much.
Rick.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.